morning, listeners, and happy Friday. This is Linda from News in Bed with the headlines that you need to know before getting out of bed. Today is Friday, August 14th, 2015. Here are the top stories. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry will be in Havana, Cuba for 12 hours today to officiate the reopening of the U.S. Embassy in Cuba and the raising of the U.S. flag over the embassy. 3 U.S. Marines who lowered the U.S. flag in 1961, when the Eisenhower administration severed diplomatic ties with the Cuban government, will be present to help raise the flag again. Although President Obama has relaxed some travel and trade restrictions to Cuba by officially restoring diplomatic relations with the country since July 20th of this year, many in the Republican-controlled Congress remain deeply hostile to Communist Cuba and have yet to approve an end to the U.S. economic embargo. Secretary of State John Kerry is not expected to meet with either Cuban President Raul Castro or former President Fidel Castro today. In a speech marking the 70th anniversary of the end of World War II, Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe expressed remorse for the actions of his country during the war, including crimes against the people of China, South Korea, Indonesia, and the Philippines. However, Abe also said that the post-war generation now exceeds 80% of Japan's population, and though the Japanese will always be humbled by their past, future generations should not have to continue apologizing. Unusually warm waters in the Pacific Ocean have meteorologists predicting a record-making El Niño season. A strong El Niño heats up the atmosphere and can change circulation patterns around the world, causing unusual weather activity that includes heavy rains and the possibility of storms and flooding. The current El Niño is the second strongest on record for this time of year and has been nicknamed Godzilla. And although El Niño usually brings heavy winter rains to the U.S., especially California, experts note that meaningfully heavy rains have occurred in only half of the times when there have been big El Niños. Residents living in the port city of Tianjin, China, near the site where 2 massive explosions occurred on Wednesday after a fire started in a hazardous materials warehouse, could be exposed to hundreds of tons of dangerous chemicals from the site. The explosion has killed 50 people, including more than a dozen firefighters, and injured more than 700. Chinese officials say they do not have details as to exact chemicals that were stored at the warehouse. The Beijing News reported earlier that, according to manufacturers, the site carried at least 700 tons of sodium cyanide, a toxic chemical that can rapidly kill if inhaled. This story, however, is no longer available on the newspaper's website. Tesla Motors, the maker of luxury electric vehicles, has announced today that it will offer an additional 2.7 million shares of stock onto the market at $242 per share, raising $642.5 million in additional capital for the company's dwindling cash reserves. Company founder and CEO Elon Musk will invest $20 million of his own money into the offering. This offering, combined with existing credit lines, is expected to provide the company with enough cash for operations going into 2016. The company plans to use the cash to build its battery gigafactory in Nevada and to fund its Model 3 project, which will make a more competitively priced electric vehicle starting at $35,000 and help the company towards its goal of selling 500,000 vehicles by 2020. And those are our headlines for today. As always, remember to make it a great day. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you tomorrow.